Hello automation world, welcome to my YouTube channel of UiPath RPA tutorials. Today in this video we are going to see state machine type of workflow. In the earlier video we have seen sequence and flowchart type of workflow and we have also learned the difference between them. So today I am making the separate video of state machine type of workflow. So let's get automated. First we will understand when to use the state machine type of workflow, or you can say the uses of state machine type of workflow. So the first is it is suitable for complex transitions, intricate transitions. For example, let's say in case of RE framework is totally made up of state machine type of workflow and transitions, different type of transitions. So to execute the intricate situations or scenarios in a business process, you can implement the state machine type of workflow effectively. The second one is in a flow chart, we cannot hold the automation. That means we cannot wait for a particular activity to happen and trigger another activity. We can do that, but that is more complicated in case of flowchart. So that's why state machine is very useful in that case. So the third one is we can have multiple transition from one state to another state. So this means suppose we have two states and there there are two conditions that we have to use in from the first state. So in that case we can divide the first state into the two conditions, that is two transitions, and we can proceed accordingly. The last one is we can have the self transition. That means we can loop through the same state again and again unless and until our condition is met. So that where we use state machine. So let me open UiPath. Here in the search activity you can type state machine, just drag and drop it. The state machine type of workflow looks like this. It is similar to flowchart, but it is not. Just a start node is there. So there are some conditions which you must follow in case of state machine. That is, it must have an initial state as a state. So if you drag and drop this state, it is allowing. If you drag and drop the final state here, it will not allow you to drag. That means it must have initial state as a state here. And another one is the state machine must have one transition, at least one transition it must have. That means here is a first, here is a second. So here you can see T1. You can also change the name of the display name of the transition as per need. So here you can see it is a transition. That means state machine must have one transition. Here you can see the validation error. It is because there is no final state provided here. So if you provide the final state, the validation error will go. That means state machine must have an initial state, must have at least one transition, and must have a final state. We can apply more than one final state as well. So these are the basic thumb rules of flowchart, you can say. So let me show you the demo here. First, if you want, do with me so that you can understand better. Drag and drop state machine, open it up, put the state in, double click. Here you can see the entry and exit section. The entry and exit section of the state machine. Whatever activity you put in the entry section, it is executed first. So let me put the input dialog here. Let me give the label as please enter some we want. Create the variable control K as sum. Change the variable type to string and scope to sequence. Okay, now take the final state here, drag and drop it. You notice the validation error will go on. So here let me change the name of it to equal. Okay, just to show you, I am putting a message box in the exit section. Let me say exit section executed. Okay, here in transition you can see there is a trigger condition. Here you can put the VB expression you want, and if this condition is satisfied, then this action is executed. Here you can see the source from where it is coming and the destination to where it go if the condition is met. So in the trigger, let me put input label as please enter number 1, control K, num1. Again take another input dialog, just say please enter number 2, control K, num2, sorry, yeah, control K, num2. You can change the variable type to integer, scope to sequence, integer, scope to sequence. Actually you can give a name so that you can understand the scope easily. Yeah, so here you can, in the final state you can just say congratulations, some match. Here in the equal, just put the assign take another variable to add number 1 and number 2. Let me say outsum. Outsum and just add number 1 plus number 2. That's it. Assign the variable not created, yeah, as integer is to sequence. Okay, all good now. That means we are taking one number initially here under the sum variable and checking and taking another two numbers from the user as number 1 and number 2 and adding that two numbers, and here in the condition we can put if sum, that means the number we have taken at first is equal to the addition of the two numbers, then we will keep blank in the action. If the action section is blank, then it will directly go to the final state, and as we have put the input dialog under this trigger, so if this condition is not met, this will again go to trigger, and unless and until this condition is matching, these activities are executed. So let me give a try, let me run it. Let's wait for the output. It will first ask for a sum. Yes, please enter sum we want, so let's enter 20. Okay, please enter num1. Let's say number 1 is 10. This is the trigger activity. We have put the number 1 and number 2 under the trigger of the first transition. it is asking for number 2, so let me enter the wrong one here. As the condition is not matching, it is again asking for the number 1, so this time 10 and 10. Okay, now you can see the exit section has been executed. That means firstly the entry section will be executed, after then the trigger, and then it will check for the condition, and then exit section will be executed. So if I press OK here the final, it is going to the final state. Here, congratulations, sum is matched. So also you can add multiple transitions and multiple final state to it to make the workflow more simplistic to the use case we want. So for more videos related to UiPath RPA, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Until then, happy automation.